A woman comes forward and announces a forcible rape near a recreation center in the Villages. A villager's wife was struck by a golf cart, prompting the husband to allegedly attack the lady. Lack of golf cart access to the new Walmart is a top concern. Residents of the Villages are ordered to halt wasteful and unnecessary use of water. Eastport is getting another new store. They've signed a lease. A villager has been arrested for repeatedly feeding stray cats. How many holes of ones of golf do we get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for coming to this week's Villages News Updated. Beware, ladies, beware. And this is one of the reasons why I don't trust Facebook. That's why I don't hardly ever get on it. A man already in jail has been charged again for the rape of a third victim near the Mulberry Grove Recreation Center in the Villages. Marion County Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Detective Hunter Kippert charged 30-year-old Dion Lee Trail Southall with an additional count of sexual battery with the use of physical force on Thursday. Southall remains in custody at Marion County Jail following his November 5 arrest for battery by strangulation and 2 counts of sexual battery with the use of a deadly weapon. On Friday, December 5, Detective Kippert was made aware of a female victim who reported that Southall had raped her. The victim advised that she saw a press release of his arrest on Facebook, which prompted her to come forward. During the victim's interview, she told detectives that she was contacted by Southall on January 15, 2021 via Facebook, and they arranged to meet for sexual intercourse. Southall took the victim to a vacant home that was under construction. During the meeting, the victim no longer wanted to participate in a sexual encounter and tried to leave the residence. He attempted to prevent her from leaving by locking the door, but he was unsuccessful. The victim advised that Southall continued to follow her and began to strangle her before dragging her into the wooded area in the vicinity of Southeast 165th Mulberry Lane, near the Mulberry Grove Recreation Center in the Villages. Southall then forcibly raped the victim. She was able to escape when he briefly stopped the assault. Based on the victim's testimony, detectives responded to the area where the rape occurred and corroborated the incident location with her relocation of the assault. On Wednesday, detectives interviewed Southall at the Marion County Jail. Although he denied knowing the victim when confronted with her disclosure, Southall provided evidence to support her statements. He told detectives that he was living in the area at the time of the incident. He has a history of meeting women on Facebook for sex and confirmed that he was the person in the photos the victim received. Southall was charged while in custody at the Marion County Jail, where he remains without bond. His prior arrests include stealing an ATV from a lawn business in March 2021 and possession of a firearm in January 2015. Rafael Garcia of the village of St. Catherine was attracted to the Villages because he believed it has set the gold standard for golf cart transportation. However, Garcia, who has been in the Villages for 4.5 years, cannot understand why the new Walmart under construction on State Road 44 and Morris Boulevard will not be golf cart accessible. He is worried about the implosion, traffic coming to the intersection when the new store opens early next year. But he cannot fathom why the new Walmart will not be given golf cart accessibility. He was among a group of residents who this past week took their concerns about the new store and the busy intersection before the Sumter County Commission. Oh, good luck with that. 2 of those commissioners are bought and paid for by the developer. I've announced that several times and you're not listening. There are going to be major accidents because of the lack of golf cart access. County Administrator Bradley Arnold agreed that golf cart accessibility is a hallmark of the Villages, but pointed out that not every property in the Villages is golf cart accessible. The developer makes the decision if the property is going to be golf cart accessible. He pointed out that if a multimodal path was built there, it would become the property of a community development district, just like the nearby Chitty Chitty Bridge. Commission Chairman Don Wiley further clarified the county's position. Sumter County is not in the business of multimodal paths. Well, that don't make sense at all. During last week's meeting, the commissioners reviewed a traffic report from Kimley Horn and Associates Incorporated. The engineer firm offered alternatives for the future of the intersection, which serves as a major north-south thoroughfare in Florida's
friendliest hometown.
During last week's meeting, the commission reviewed a traffic report from Kimberly Horn, the engineer, blah, blah, blah. The county now moves into the design phase of the intersection, which will see additional turn lanes added. The design phase could take 6 to 8 months. The next challenge for the commission will be to find the money to fund the intersection improvements. Commissioners plan to do a little brainstorming in some upcoming workshops and admitted it is a challenging issue. We are talking millions of dollars for the actual construction work, Chairman Wiley said. I'm not going to say anything. People, this is about as screwed up as it could possibly be around here anymore. The Southwest Florida Water Management District, wait for it, the SWFWMD, has placed a Phase 1 water shortage order for areas within the villages. This shortage order began on December 1 and is scheduled to run through July 1, 2026, and applies to counties and cities in our vicinity as well. While this order does not make changes to existing 2-day-per-week irrigations, it does prohibit wasteful and unnecessary use, such as allowing water to flow from an unattended hose. Answering to frequently asked questions can be found here. If you have any questions, visit the Villages District website at watermatters.org/restrictions for more information. Send an inquiry to that website at any time, or you can call 813-856-5679 during business hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, this water restriction thing that they do here, it's something that's almost like every year. Depends on how much rain we got during our wet season, and there's a lot of other variables too. I don't know how they come up with all this. I don't know why Southern Florida has anything to do with our water up here in Central Florida, but they do. And that's just the way it is. So I don't freak out about it. But there are some people that need to have somebody knock on their door because they just go crazy. Depending on what kind of grass you have here, depends on how it looks in the winter. I have zoysia grass. My District 10 is zoysia grass district. Zoysia grass goes dormant in the winter. It doesn't need water. It kind of turns brown, not the most attractive grass in the wintertime. But the whole idea of zoysia was to save on water. But yet people will come down here, new people, and the grass turns brown in the winter. They don't know anything about what kind of grass it is, probably don't even care. And then next thing you know, they're watering their yard every day of the week, 7 days a week. And as I read in this report, we're only allowed to water our grass twice a week. And you can't water it 24 hours a day on one of those days. There's a restriction how long, all this and that. And if you do, you're going to get a water bill because the water that goes in the front yard in my district is all recycled water that comes generally from the swamp. And then the water in your house, of course, is city water. So you get 2 bills, all in one bill. So you water your grass out there too much, you're going to get an extremely high bill, and then people will complain about that. So just don't do it. Okay, we have a group of out-of-compliance homes, and I'm just going to put them all on here in one group. And I'm not going to give a complete report of the homes. I'm just going to kind of skip through them. I hope you'll forgive me, but this report's going to be way too long the way it is. A problematic paint job has apparently prompted a couple in the villages to put their home up on the market. Pauline Sullivan and Michael Alajar appeared this week before Special Master Terry Neal in a deed compliance hearing at the District Office of Brownwood regarding their home at 9191 Southeast 166 Sprung Lane in the Phillips Villas in the villages of Woodbury. A complaint was received by community centers on September 9 about their home's blue paint. Other homes in the villa community have a gray collar. Sullivan said they have tried to pursue the petition process, but their neighbors have been reluctant to sign a petition, which would bring the odd collar into the fold. No one will sign it. No one wants to get involved. It ain't just they don't want to get involved. They don't want your collar in the neighborhoods. A lot of these villa areas, you have to understand, especially the older areas, they have different rules and regulations than other areas. So if you're going to buy a patio villa or a courtyard villa, check the rules out on where you're at. Like in patio villas, you're not allowed to take any of the grass out and put rock in. The newer area down there, I've noticed there are several areas in the newer areas where rock is permissible, and they sell them brand new with rock. So you have to make sure you know what you're doing in your district. And they also have certain rules in some areas, like generally courtyard villa areas, you cannot paint your driveways, period. They just don't allow it. And all homes have to be the same color, the exterior part of the home. Inside, you can do what you want, but outside, the outside exterior of the home has to be the same color. In the courtyard, that nobody can see really unless you live there. I'm not sure what the rules are there. You have to check that out too. But in this neighborhood, it sounds like every home has to be a specific color. It blends in everything to look right. And this guy painted his home blue and probably didn't check his district rules or anything about it. And so now he's wanting to blame everybody else for his problem. And truth of it is, he started the problem by not checking out the rules or going to ARC and simply asking, can I paint my house blue? They would have told him right up front. The couple begged the special master to help and said they do not want to go through the expense of repainting their home again. It's not cheap. Neil, who is a retired Lake County judge, said they have three options: pursue the petition process, repaint with the original color, choose a color that is acceptable to the ARC, which means you're going to have to repaint anyway. She also offered a little advice. I would dot all the I's and cross all the T's before I paint my house again, Neil said. They were given 45 days to bring the home back into compliance. Although the subject was not broached at the hearing, a for sale sign appears at the garage door at the home. The for sale sign was not there in the photo taken by the September by community standards. Now, you see what he's doing. He don't want to repaint. He's mad. I'm going to sell it to somebody else and let them deal with this problem. He's going to walk away from it. Buy something somewhere else maybe. I don't know. Before you buy any home here, let me say it for the 50th time, make sure everything there is in compliance with the district rules. You got any questions about anything there with your real estate agent, check it with ARC. Take a picture of whatever you're talking about. In this district, in this neighborhood, is this acceptable? Make sure it's okay, because once you put your name on that dotted line, anything wrong with that house, and your neighbor will let you know because they're going to turn you in, it's your baby. You're stuck with it. The old excuse is, well, it was like that when I bought the house. Makes no difference. It's your house. That's out of compliance. You have to change it. Don't get into that problem. I beg of you, don't get into this problem. A home of a dead villager has become an eyesore in the neighborhood. A home located at 15 Madero Drive in the village of Santo Domingo was the subject of a deed compliance hearing this past week before the Community Development District 2 Board of Supervisors at Savannah Center. A complaint was received September 29th by community standards about overgrown grass at the home. The home was purchased in 1998 for $131,700 by Donna and Armilla Bellado. She died in 2010. Donald Bellado died in January of this year at age 92. The Korean War veteran was laid to rest at the Florida National Cemetery in Bushnell. After the complaint was lodged, community standards began trying to find the party responsible for maintaining the property. Community standards located MCS, a property preservation company, which reported receiving a stop work order for the property in October and had no further information according to the testimony presented at the public hearing. The board granted the homeowner, whoever that is, 7 days to bring the property into compliance. If it is not brought into compliance, the district will maintain the home at a $250 per each occurrence. And they'll only do that for so long, and then they get tougher. Frustrated officials are growing tired of paying for upkeep at a dead villager's home. Good example of what I just said. 3D compliance cases were up before officials in public hearings Friday at Savannah Center. One of the cases involved the home at 2264 Margarita Drive in the village of Santo Domingo. It was heard by Community Development District 2 supervisors. The home was originally purchased by Daniel and Janet Zeno in 1998 for $136,600. Beginning in 2020, the elderly couple sank into a turbulent period of their marriage, with Daniel Zeno arrested several times. He was eventually living in his car and spending long periods of time hanging out at recreation centers. He died in 2021. Janet Zeno died of August 31 of this year. A complaint was received September 4 by community standards regarding overgrown grass, overgrown bushes, and weeds. The property is in foreclosure with a notice of sale scheduled for February 12. You hear that, you home flippers or your DIYers? It's scheduled to go up for auction February 12. Supervisor Ronald Baxa expressed frustration that CDD2 will be paying for the upkeep of the property, which will be sold at auction. He lamented the fact that too often there isn't any money to recoup from the foreclosures. It's a sentiment that has been shared by other officials in the villages. However, at least one fellow supervisor said the burden of upkeep serves a purpose for the neighborhood. It does. We are sort of stuck in that. We are a government organization. Ultimately, it comes down to neighbors and spending the money to maintain a property so the neighborhood looks reasonably good. That's true. And also, back when there was nothing done about these homes, other than trying to figure out who was responsible for the homes, people raised hell saying we ought to have somebody to maintain these homes. Somebody should be cutting the bushes. Somebody should be mowing the grass. Somebody should be washing the house. Well, certain districts adopted that philosophy. Now you have that philosophy in your district. Now listen to you. Always beware of what you're asking. Beware of what you want, because it could come true. And then you have these problems pop up because somebody didn't think it through. An inoperable vehicle is among problems at a neglected home in the villages. The home at 2444 Ravenwood Lane in the Cottonwood Villas in the village of Tamarind Grove was the subject of a decompliance hearing this week at the district office at Brownwood. A complaint was received September 24 by community standards about overgrown grass, weeds, and an inoperable vehicle in the driveway. Photograph presented as evidence at the hearing showed that the license plate on the vehicle expired in August 2024, meeting the district standards defining the vehicle as inoperable. Community Standards was unable to reach the homeowner, even though letters notifying her of the hearing were sent via certified and regular mail. An emergency contact provided limited information and said the homeowner is in an assisted living facility. The homeowner is granted 7 days to address the lawn problem and 5 days to take care of the inoperable vehicle. Good luck on that. She's in an assisted living. A villager has been given 1 week to remove debris from his property, or he will face daily fines. The property owned by Stephen McNeil at 540 St. Andrews Boulevard on the historic side of the Villages was the subject of a decompliance hearing this week at the district office at Brownwood. A complaint was received September 23 at Community Standards regarding debris throughout the yard and carport. Photographs presented as evidence at the hearing showed golf carts, a kayak, exercise equipment, chairs, a fan, a ladder, and other items around the exterior of the home. Attempts by Community Standards to contact the homeowner have been unsuccessful. Phone numbers on file were not accepting calls, and emails were returned as undeliverable. In November, a notice of an upcoming hearing was sent to the homeowner by regular mail and by certified mail. McNeil was given 7 days to clean up the debris and bring his home into compliance. If he fails to do so, he will face an initial $150 fine, followed by $50 daily fines that will accrue until the property is brought into compliance. And don't think they won't. It hadn't been that long ago I reported a home that had something like $40,000 in fines on the house or whatever. They do have the reputation of forgiving those fines, though, once the house is sold or whatever. So that kind of comes back and bites them in the ass when they do that. A couple with unorthodox landscaping has claimed they were unaware of the Architectural Review Committee approval process required in the Villages. How can anybody be unaware of this? I'm always shocked by that. The patio villa owned by Jerem and Durga Uramili at 9340 Wayside Place in the Ivy Stone Villas in the village of Springdale was the subject of decompliance hearing this week at the district office at Brownwood. A complaint was received about the home on September 5 by Community Standards. The couple had used concrete blocks to line the sidewalk and put down rock that extends all the way to the street. That means he probably took up the grass. You cannot do that in any patio villa area. I mean, look at these pictures. I don't know about you, but I can't imagine a neighbor just not doing anything, not saying anything. Neighbors will let you know what the rules are. And if they come out and say, hey, you can't do that, don't get snipey. Ask questions. When Community Standards spoke with Yoram Uramili, he claimed to be unaware of the ARC approval landscape modifications. He said he would submit an application to the ARC. He submitted an application in October, but it was denied. Yeah, because you already started the work. I told you people that. Do not turn your nose up to ARC. They will make you take everything out because you didn't ask for permission first. And then when you put the application in, they might go ahead and approve the exact same thing that you just got done tearing out. Do you want to get into that mess? The couple has been given 45 days to bring the property into compliance. If they fail to do so, they will face an immediate $150 fine followed by $50 daily fines that will continue to accrue until the property is brought into compliance. You don't have to like it, but it's the rule. Witness accounts and an accident report from the Florida Highway Patrol are shedding a light on the arrest of a villager who allegedly punched the driver of a golf cart which struck his wife on Morris Boulevard. Thomas Kent Brahma, 70, who lives in Villa de Luga in the village of Rio Grande, was arrested Tuesday morning after his wife, 71-year-old Deborah Kemper, was struck by a 2011 Yamaha golf cart on Morris Boulevard at San Juan Drive near the entrance of the village of Hacienda. Kemper suffered incapacitating injuries and was transported by ambulance to Ocala Regional Medical Center. An accident report indicated that Kemper was walking and traveled into the direct path of the golf cart driven by 73-year-old village of Hacienda woman. She had been making a left turn from San Juan Drive onto Morris Boulevard when she struck Kemper, who was crossing Morris Boulevard from the median in the southerly direction. When Sumter County Sheriff's deputies arrived on the scene, Brammer was found near his unconscious wife. She was being treated by personnel from the village's public safety department. The woman who had been driving the golf cart told deputies that Brammer, who stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighs 220 pounds, walked up to her golf cart, raised his two fists, and punched through the golf cart curtain. He struck her in the left side of her face twice. The golf cart driver was not ticketed and did not appear to be at fault, according to the accident report. Brammer, who purchased this home in the villages with his wife in 2017, was taken into custody and booked at some kind of detention center. The New Jersey native was released after posting a $7,000 bond. Well, I kind of understand, nerves, frustration, fear, anger, all that kind of thing. But it sounds like to me that possibly, I'm not a lawyer. It looks like to me that both of them can take fault here. The golf cart driver maybe should have paid attention more. I wasn't there. I don't know. So I'm not going to say anything. I got some immigration reports to make here around the villages. I'll do it all in one group. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement put a hold on a Muscogee man suspected of driving drunk with a suspended license. A deputy had just released a vehicle from the traffic stop when 31-year-old Andre Aaron Hernandez Sanchez drove by in a yellow four-door Ford hatchback around 7:10 p.m. Wednesday, according to a arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The vehicle was smoking, emitting a sound consistent with a mechanical issue and had its hazards on. After notifying dispatch of the situation, the deputy pulled behind the hatchback on his shoulder on County Road 48 near County Road 713 in Center Hill. Hernandez Sanchez explained the car had broken down, but the deputy noticed a truly alcoholic seltzer can in the center console cup holder. Although it was not cold to the touch, it still fizzed when poured out, meaning it had been opened recently. Hernandez Sanchez also had slow and slurred speech, bloodshot glossy eyes, and an unsteady demeanor. Sounds like me when I first get up in the morning. He denied drinking anything but smelled of alcohol when he spoke. As such, he was asked to participate in field sobriety exercises, the report said. During them, he could not walk in a straight line and did not follow instructions. He continued to sway while balancing as well. His performance led to the deputy conclude he was under the influence and placed him under arrest. A subsequent check of his driving history revealed his driver's license had expired on October 29, 2019. He had also been designated a habitual traffic offender since November 17, 2016, and he had 5 prior guilty dispositions for driving while license suspended or revoked. 5. Hernandez Sanchez was charged with DUI, driving while license suspended, habitual offender, and refusal to submit a DUI testing. He was transported to the Sumter County Detention Center where bond was set at $12,000 and ICE placed a hold on him. An unlicensed driver from Mexico was arrested while towing an unsecured 4-ton tractor past the villages of Shady Brook. An officer on patrol noticed 32-year-old Abraham Arce Protillo of Leesburg towing a trailer near the entrance to the village of Shady Brook around 12:45 p.m. Tuesday, according to the arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. On the trailer sat a large orange Kubota medium-duty R520 tractor, which had no safety chain securing it to the trailer. It instead only had one nylon cargo strap on the loader section to secure a loose loader bucket on the trailer. Seeing this, the officer stopped Prado to ask for his license and insurance, the report said. Prado handed over a Mexican voter registration card. later advising he did not have a license. He also had no verifiable address or residence. The officer told him that he needed to secure the tractor on the trailer with safety chains, being it had a weight of 8,200 pounds or 4.25 tons. He then arrested Portillo on charges of operating a motor vehicle without a valid license. The native of Mexico was transported to Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $500 bond. That's what kills me. No license, Mexican voter card. He's obviously probably illegal or undocumented, as they like to say, and he was released. An unlicensed driver from Mexico was arrested after crashing his car near the Morris Gate in the Villages. Maceo Alonso Wuncho, 51, of Leesburg, was driving a gray 2009 Chevy at about 2:30 p.m. Wednesday when he crashed in the roundabout at Morris Boulevard in El Camino Real, according to a rush report of Sumter County Sheriff's Office. Hey, these roundabouts, if you've been drinking, man, they're killers. A native of Capachi, Mexico, was still seated in the driver's seat when the first deputy arrived at the scene. Alonso handed the deputy a Mexican identification card. He admitted he did not have a driver's license. He was arrested on a charge of driving without a license. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $150 bond. Released after posting a $150 bond. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement placed a hold on a Nicaraguan who was arrested with marijuana in a Mercedes. A deputy noticed 24-year-old Angel Ramon Torres of Tavares driving a black Mercedes with unlit rear registration lights in Webster at 7:05 p.m. Wednesday, according to an arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. Due to this, a traffic stop was conducted at the intersection of South Market Boulevard and Southeast 1st Avenue. While speaking with Torres, the deputy smelled raw marijuana coming from the vehicle. Torres stated he did not have a medical marijuana card and denied having hemp or CBD products with him. The deputy told him a search was still to follow, and he started reaching toward the center console as if something was in there. A deputy then found a clear plastic bag of marijuana and a metal grinder with green residue in the center console. The contents of the baggie was obviously less than a felony amount of 20 grams. Torres was arrested on charges of possession of marijuana, less than 20 grams, and drug equipment, possess, or use. He was transported to Sumter County Detention Center where ICE put a hold on him. A ruptured gas line in an attic accelerated a fire at a home in the Villages. A Villages Public Safety Department was dispatched Saturday to report a residential structure fire in the 5500 block of Parkin Path in the village of Linden. Dispatch advised that the reporting party observed flames and smoke coming from the rear of the residence and noted the presence of solar panels on the roof. Firefighters quickly descended on the scene and concluded no one was inside the home. Upon arrival, fire conditions were rapidly extending throughout the attic and roof system. Crews deployed multiple hose lines and conducted an aggressive blitz attack to bring the fire under control following an extended operational period. Extensive overhaul and roof operations were completed to ensure full extinguishments and eliminated all remaining hotspots, said Robert Ramage, Deputy Chief of Operations for Villages BPSD. Extensive overhaul and roof operations. Do you know what that means? I do, because I had a house get on fire once. That means they went up there and they chopped holes in the roof and everything, making sure there wasn't any fire in the attic or hot spots or whatever. They cause a lot of damage, but it has to be done. He added the prompt action of the first arriving units prevented further fire extensions to the nearby structures and mitigated the potential for loss of life. There were no injuries. The residents sustained extensive roof damage and significant water damage throughout the home. Preliminary findings indicate the fire was accidental in nature with a possible electrical organ. Wow, that seems unusual. A villager has been arrested after reportedly feeding stray cats. Sheila Ann Velastro, 70, of the village of Fenny, was taken into custody on Friday on a warrant charging her with trespassing. Velastro ran afoul Veloso ran afoul of officials in the city of Coleman, where she had been feeding stray cats, according to the information from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. She was officially banned on July 28th from the Coleman Community Center, where she had been feeding the cats. The city's interim mayor spotted Veloso back at the community center on October 22, where she was once again feeding the cats. The mayor shot a photo of Veloso as well as her silver Hyundai Elantra and its license plate. The mayor told deputies that this has been going on for a long time and that the cats had become a public nuisance. The mayor said the cats were continually at the community center, which is in use on a daily basis by the public. In addition to stray cats, the amount of food Veloso was providing also attracted buzzards. In addition to being a cat lover, Veloso reported is also a talented musician, giving her time and talents here in the Villages. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,000 bond. You know, gosh, what do you say about that? I don't know. I just know a couple of things, and I'm not judging, but if you're trespassed, no matter what your reasons are, that means you can't go back, period. You'd be arrested. That's violating an order. But she's trying to take care of stray cats that really shouldn't be there, but because people won't get their cats or their dogs neutered, wild cats, stray cats, feral cats are everywhere. And they affect the natural wildlife. And everybody knows that. So if you got a cat, take care of it, get it neutered. In case it gets loose and you lose it and becomes feral, just do that. It's really healthy for the animal. Things are really buzzing at Eastport these days, and another retailer has signed a lease to open a new store at the bustling new town center in the Villages. Found for Home will open a 1,508 square foot store in downtown Eastport, offering home decor and personalized gifts. The store expected to open in the second quarter of 2026. Jennifer Hagenbaugh is the creator and president of Found for Home. Before starting her business, Hagenbaugh had been in banking for 20 years, working her way up from teller to senior management. Realizing she had a talent for interior design, an eye for amazing pieces, and a way with people, she opened her store in 2017. Although she started small and took her time growing, Hagenbaugh was doing well with steady sales. Changes wrought by the pandemic forced her to get strategic and increase her online presence, resulting in a massive success Found for Home is today. I got, I think like 3 updates here. I'm going to go through them real quick. I'm not reading the whole police report on these because I've already done them once. This is just after they were arrested and went to jail and then either filed guilty charges or whatever they done, pleaded guilty or not guilty. This is the updates. I got 3 of them, so let's get them done. A former leader in the Villages for Trump organization is heading back to federal prison. Robert Riveniver Jr., 60, who has been living in Continental Country Club in Wildwood, has been sentenced to 3 years in federal prison for violating his supervised release. He was arrested for a violation this past June, and that's his update. Back to federal prison you go. An entertainment department staffer will not be prosecuted in connection with the Halloween incident at Brownwood Paddock Square. The prosecutor's office issued an announcement earlier this month that the evidence against 43-year-old Brian Joseph Mullany of Ocala is legally insufficient to prove his guilt. He had faced 2 counts of battery. He's the one that was in the Halloween scary house, I think, and the little girl said he pushed her twice or something. The son of a couple in the Villages will lose his driver's license after he was found the wee hours morning sleeping in his pickup. Keith Cook Stevenson, 38, who lives with his parents in the village of Pine Ridge, pleaded no contest this past week in Lake County Court to a charge of driving under the influence. He will lose his license for 6 months. He had been placed on probation for 1 year, and he had been ordered to perform 50 hours of community service, although he can buy out at the rate of $12 an hour. I'm not going to say anything. You've all heard it from me before. Okay, let's see how many holes in ones of golf we got this week. Looks like 3. Stephanie Korishida shared a photo of her father, Rich Core, of the village of Buttonwood, who got a hole-in-one back in October in the Villages. She admitted she was a little late sending in the photo, but added that she was proud of her dad and wanted to see his achievement recognized. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Rich. Amy Gaser of Linden Isle in the village of Linden got a hole-in-one Saturday, December 13th at Laurel Oaks Executive Golf Course. It was her first hole-in-one. She scored the lucky ace at hole number 3 at 96 yards. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Amy. Villager LeVerett Gridley got a hole-in-one Friday at hole number 9 at the Sand Hill Executive Golf Course. I like Sand Hill. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, LeVerett. Hang in there, man. You'll get some more. Well, let's go to everybody's favorite, letters to the editor, and let's see what everybody else is complaining about. To the editor, I do not agree with anonymous complaints in the villages. Well, then you shouldn't have bought here, because that's what all the villages is, unless you want to change that rule. There should be on record the names of every person who files a complaint in order to identify individuals who file them as a hobby. When an individual resident receives a complaint notice regarding a compliance issue, that exists with many other homeowners as well. It is discrimination to single out that one resident. No, it's not. People are always trying to use these kind of excuses to change things that's been in place for 35 years. The rules of compliance are supposed to pertain to everyone. They do apply to everyone. They got this all twisted out of shape. If the village's developer or whoever created the regulations can't monitor the restrictions and hold all residents to the guidelines, that is on them. Now, that part I'll kind of agree with. If you create rules, you have to apply them to everyone. They are applied to everyone, not just selected individuals. The villages doesn't apply anything to a selected individual. You're getting things screwed up here. That's sent in by Donna Barthelemy from the village of Osceola Hills. Real quick, let me tell you how this works. You get this complaint all the time saying I'm being discriminated against. No, you're not. We're a complaint-based, I was going to say community, but actually it's a city, complaint-based city. That means you can break all the rules you want as long as nobody complains. That means that if somebody complains against you, they're going to inspect you. They're going to look at that complaint against you because that's the only person there was a complaint about. It's just like the police. If they come to your neighborhood because there's a guy that somebody complained about being drunk in that neighborhood and causing a problem, they're not going to go to every house in the neighborhood to see if everybody's sober. They just don't do that. They don't do that here either. A complaint against you for whatever the problem is, they're going to come and they're going to look at you, not me, not the guy down the road. And why do you need to know who sent a complaint against you? I want to know the answer to that. I have never gotten a good, respectable answer to that. Why do you need to know who made a complaint against you? Why do you need that name? What's your reasoning for knowing that person's name? I bet I know. You're not going to admit it, but I know. Thanks for the letter, Donna. To the editor, fire, shoot, aim. Building a Walmart in the village is yet. It won't be accessible by golf cart. I know. And that's always been the village's standard to any business that wanted to build a business there. They had to be golf cart accessible. That has always been the village's rule. That has always been the reason why people wanted to buy a home here is because you could get to any place, anywhere, anytime by cart. What are they thinking? This is a golf cart community and access would reduce the number of cars, accidents, injuries that continue the village's model. It appears none of that matters. They'll happily take our money, but don't seem to have concerns about being part of the community. We can always shop elsewhere. That's sent in by Wanda Tilgutz from the village of Fenney. Well, I have said it before, I don't know all the inside stuff. I don't think anybody does except the people on the inside. But it looks like to me that this fourth generation taking over doesn't even know that this is a retirement community anymore. It's almost like they forgot that even exists. And whoever's in charge to sign off on some of these things, it's beyond me on some things that they're doing here. It's just beyond me because this is not the villages that I seen 35 years ago. None, not even close. There's dribs and drabs of it. Don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of golf cart accessibility to one hell of a lot of things. But I don't know, man. I noticed that right away when they were building that store. I said, well, how are they going to get a golf cart trail down here? Or they can do anything with enough money. I just couldn't see it. And how's the people going to get from this side of 44 to the other side of 44 and then cross the street over there to get over? You know what I mean? I didn't know. But we'll see. Maybe they got some kind of plan for the future. But I doubt it. Thanks for the letter there, Wanda. To the editor. I agree with the letter regarding having a permanent table tennis room in Everglades. In fact, there should be a permanent facility in every recreation center where there are pickleball courts and other activities. It is beneficial to have an indoor sports activity where we won't get sunstroke or skin cancer. I kind of agree with that. They attempted to do something about that, and then everybody started raising hell, and everybody was just having fits over the things that they were wanting to do to escape the sun, and so they just pulled it off the table. So we have ourselves to blame for that. It has open play every day, which is what we need. Some other recreational centers might only have 2 tables in a crowded game room, or just a couple days to play per week for 3 hours. It's not as accessible as the indoor pickleball courts. So please, let's add more permanent table tennis facilities to our growing and expanding community. Well, here's the thing that I can tell you just off the top of my head. If you want indoor stuff, like an indoor swimming pool, indoor pickleball courts, do you think all that's going to be free? They're not going to build $10, $15 million buildings with all this stuff inside and just let every resident use it. You're going to have to buy a membership to get in there. Here's what happened the first time. People was talking about skin cancer and the hot days in the summer, and you can't escape the sun very much and all this and that. And I agree. Listen, I've lost my pigment. I haven't been to a swimming pool in 2 or 3 years now. I can't go to the squares. I can't do much of any outdoor activities anymore because of I have no pigment anymore, and I get skin cancer. Sue's had surgery of skin cancer. I've had skin cancer cut off of me too, and it happens every day. I'm not whining. It happens to everybody here. Here's what happened. You're going to love it. So they come up with a design where they were going to take an adult pool and they were going to have this massive umbrella built over top of it, to where it would shade most of the pool most of the day, but yet you were still kind of outside. It was probably a more inexpensive way of kind of having an indoor pool, but not. You know what I mean? Just a shaded pool. And they were all talking about it. Now, I was for it. I thought, that's a great idea. But the question came up, which adult pool are you going to put that over? That started the argument. Everybody wanted that pool shaded in their district. And then with Finney, and then with Eastport, and all the way up to Spanish Springs, and then all the way up to Nancy Lopez, and Brownwood, and Lake Sumter, and anywhere in between, or east or west. It became an issue. Everybody was going to these meetings and arguing why it was a good idea to have it next to my house. And finally, they just pulled it off the table. Too much arguing. They weren't going to be able to satisfy anybody. And then the guy came up with things. Look, if you have this shaded pool up here, at that time, there was something like 125,000 people living here. He said 125,000 people, all of them wanting to come up to the shaded pool. He said, we don't have room for any of that. The parking, the tables, seats, whatever. And so they just pulled it right off the design table. And that's what happened to it. Disappeared. Well, thanks for the letter, though. I appreciate it. It gives people time to think about something before they actually say, I want this, but it ain't going to happen the way you see it. Nothing here is going to be free anymore. It's expensive. So if you want all indoor, matter of fact, speaking of indoor pickleball courts, there was a company building a building somewhere, I think. I did a report on it. I don't remember exactly where it was at, but it was a club that was going to have several indoor pickleball courts, and they had these buildings around Florida, all different areas, and you bought a membership, and inside the building was going to be pickleball courts, or a track to run on, and some other stuff in there, a tennis court maybe, I don't know, and it was going to be just outside the village, which means it would not be golf cart accessible. You'd have to drive your car there. And that company went bankrupt, I think. And so those are no longer going to happen. So when you ask for something, really you have to give it some serious thought. Where do you think $10 million is going to come from to build this stuff? And it'd probably cost at least that. Put a big building up, put all the stuff inside of it. And our amenity fees ain't paying for that. If it paid for that, our amenity fees would be $500 a month. And we're not going to stand for that either. So that means you got to buy a private membership card to get in there, and 99% of people ain't going to do that. So the company that built that, they're going to lose their assets. So it ain't going to happen. That's sent in by Moore Jen. Not even going to try to say your last name, from the village of Woodbury. Appreciate it. Okay, I think that's going to be the news for this week. I got a feeling it's going to be a long one. I'm just going to take some time to get this thing edited and put out. I do appreciate it. And as always, I give all credit to this news, and I dedicate this news to my YouTube and Patreon members. They're the ones that really keep this whole thing afloat here financially. I do appreciate it very much. I'm more than glad to do it, and they support the things that I do here. I appreciate them very much, and I want them to know that. In the past week here, our WNL crew and I went out for a Christmas dinner. It's kind of an annual thing that I do. I did a video of that. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it, because if nothing else, it shows what the new, what's it called, 24 Middleton or Middleton 24 restaurant, what it kind of looks like inside, what the food looks like, what you may or may not be interested in eating there. I done my little review at the end of it of what I thought of the restaurant. Talked to a couple of people there. I showed a little bit of that part of Middleton that's still under construction, but it's coming alive. Middleton is the area around the school. It's not part of Eastport. I get it mixed up myself because it's kind of a confusing area in my way of thinking. It is confusing to me. But anyway, I hope you watched that video. If not, please go watch it. And as always, let me beg of you to subscribe to the channel and watch the videos, because as more and more people keep coming online, the views and the subscribers keep going down or dying off or maintaining. And that's the only thing that keeps the YouTube channel alive. You have to subscribe, you have to watch videos, give a comment, thumbs up, all these little things that seem ridiculous, but it goes into YouTube's algorithm as to promote the video or promote your channel to other people. The other thing is there's a new thing down there called hyping a video. I get emails once in a while, people saying, I don't know what that is, but I hyped your video. I said, okay, I appreciate it. I don't know. I'm not sure what hyping does. It's got to be something like a thumbs up or something. So now they've added, see, this is what gets really frustrating for everybody, and I totally understand it. Comment, thumbs up, subscribe, watch, and now I got to hype. There's so many things just to do on a video. They're making it almost ridiculous to me. So I really don't know what to tell you to do, to make things easier for you, but I'll tell you what helps me. Hyping, I don't know what that is. I guess it's okay, but I do know that subscribing to the channel, giving me another subscriber, helps the channel a lot for a lot of reasons. Watching the video, that's how you make money. The commercials that YouTube puts on these videos on YouTube, you have to watch the video. If you watch the video, the commercial comes up. Even if you watch it for 4 seconds and the skip button comes up and you hit skip, they get credit for that much of the commercial anyway, and we get paid for that. It's not a lot, but we get paid a little bit of something. That's why I really like my members and Patreon members. I'm leaning more toward there than anywhere because I don't need commercials on anything there. And I put a lot of stuff on there early. The news, they get their news here 3 days early than what you get. And they don't need to give me anything because they're paying a monthly due. Patreon, some of the people only pay $2 a month, $2 a month. And the things that they get there is a great deal as far as I'm concerned. $2 a month, they get access to our private members only Discord link where they can go there and share pictures and ask questions about the villages and where'd you eat all this stuff. And they're on there all the time. I don't get on there near as much because I try to leave it more for the members. That way you can ask people their opinions about things, and I don't try to get involved with it. I think you deserve to have more information from outside sources than me, because you might look at me as being a little discriminatory about things. So you get on there, there's 300 or 400 people on there, and you can get on there and you can ask them questions, what they think about things, and they'll tell you their side of it. And that's why I try to stay off of it as much as possible. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Please support my sponsors if you can. They'll pop up here on and off. We have a cruise ship coordinator. They're sponsoring my channel right now. If you're interested in doing a cruise with them, get a hold of them. Their phone numbers are on that little advertisement logo. And call them. I've met the people. They're more than willing to talk to you and tell you what's coming up, what's available, the prices, all this and that. They'll do it for you. And then you got, of course, Ira Miller. He's been a sponsor of my channel for a while. We support Ira, too, the best that we can. And he's on here. You got Nova Filters. I think almost half the people in the villages has Nova Filters for their whole house water filtering system. And we've lately added on to our system, Sue did anyway, had this thing that looks like a water softener put out in the garage. It's not very big. And they're not like the old water softeners where 80 pounds every other week you you put a couple of bags in there and it lasts for a long time. So he had that added out there. I'm not sure if it does any good or not. You'll have to ask her. But it's there. I'm working on our next members' lunch. I've got ideas of what's going on. We discussed it a little bit at our Christmas dinner, and I asked their advice about some things, and they told me what they thought about it. If you're a Patreon member, you'll get notified. I might put something on there to get your opinion about something that kind of concerns me about it. The YouTube members, I'll put something on there if you're able to come to it. There's a couple of questions I got, and I'll send you guys private messages on the members list only and on the Patreon members only, and then you guys can address it and let me know what you think. Please be honest. If you're not honest, then things fall apart. I want your honest opinion about things. You'll be getting something from me. I don't know when we're going to do this Patreon lunch. It's going to be well after the holidays, so I'm not doing it during the holidays, and we'll see what comes up and how we're going to do this. But I'm looking forward to it. I meet new people all the time. I love meeting new people. And I want to say thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Rizzo. They're also Patreon members, and they're Discord people they're on there all the time. They had a Christmas get-together, pitch-in dinner kind of thing at their house, their new house. I've never been there. It's a beautiful home. And may I say, he's got one of the best backyards that I've seen for a while. And they put it on at their house, and there was a bunch of people there, and we had food and drink, and we talked a lot and joked around a lot, and super good people, and I really appreciate them as friends and as Discord members and Patreon members. So with that being said, I'm just going to get out of here and say, be well, stay safe, be alert, stay aware.
And don't leave your key in that golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.